What's up, everybody? This is Ripples in Wales, back for another video. I hope you're all doing well and having a great day wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing. It's Saturday. Hope you're all having a day off, doing some fun stuff. And speaking of fun stuff, we did some fishing yesterday out on a local body of water. You can see it on my Twitter. We posted some pictures yesterday. The conditions were really nice. We were on a stretch of water that it was just glass calm. Sun was out, mountains were out, and we got some good fish as well. See one of my friends here holding a very nice bass of about 4 or 5 pounds. So yeah, they were biting yesterday. No bait fish, but plenty of bass around, and I got a small one as well. I got 2 small ones. They had to go back, unfortunately. A little bit too small, but my mate snagged the big ones. Good on him. It's his boat. Anyhow, right, let's jump into some news. Let's check out Market Watch at the minute. We've got Bitcoin at 36,983. Ethereum's just clipped over $2,053. We're not even going to cover BNB. XRP, $66. Solana's been rocketing to $54, and Cardano's at 37 cents. All the altcoin markets are heavily in the green as the money seems to rotate now from Bitcoin into Ethereum, into the alts. As you can see, on the 7-day, there are some very strong averages. You know, FTX. I mean, we're going to go over this lately in a short while. This is an absolute scandal that this token should pump like this. But then again, you just can't guess the markets. Gensler had some comments yesterday regarding this, that FTX, the exchange, should be relaunched. I mean, what is he thinking? Is he on psychedelics or something? It just goes to show the corruption and the deep ties between FTX and the Gensler administration cabal. It's pretty damning, but I hope everyone can see this in the light of day. Anyway, moving swiftly on, there's a lot of tokens that are doing very well. Casper 65%, Blur 43%, Chainlink 33%, Solana 28%. I mean, that's on a 7-day. Solana's close to, or over doubled since the bottom. Terra Classic, I mean, what the hell's that about? Jeez, I don't know. Anyway, looking at the XRP chart, it's finding support now, back where it should do, on the top of this this kind of level coming in here. It's held after Ripple Swell's event has now tailored off and finished. We'll see if it holds in the meantime. Usually you do get a pump before Swell, and after Swell you got one here. This was a front run event for Swell, and then after Swell it fell off, and it happened multiple times. I think it's here as well. Where is it? November pump. Oh, it was the SEC crash, beg your pardon. But it's usual for the tokens to get traded heavily by hedgies and whatnot. They've got calendars with every event on, and they trade these like hell. Okay, if you've seen the ICO calendars have passed, and the kind of meetups that every token has. So, you know, Stella has Meridian, Cardano has its own one, Solana has its own one. Well, but they take advantage of those big conferences and they trade the hell out of the tokens. You know, playing retail. Very clever ways to do things, but it's just kind of the way that things are done. Anyway, Bitcoin, it's making its way up. Really nice big leg up. That's a monster move, that, wasn't it? And so good on Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I hope it does well. As it does well, the rest of the market does well. Doesn't mean I don't think Bitcoin has a checkered past and maybe a checkered future, but as the first asset in the place and legacy asset, we've got to root for it, because I'm not really into maximalism. What I'm not into is corruption, but I'm not a maximalist by any means. I have quite a diverse portfolio. And Ethereum, very interesting, made a huge move off this drop here and a pump up. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be able to break the resistance there. It's a heavy resistance it's trying to punch through there. I think it'll probably sink back down and have another go at some point. Anywho, moving on. Ripple Swell. Okay, we haven't had a real catch up on that yet, have we? So we should probably have a listen to some of these things now. I've been copyright struck the past few days for all these videos I've been playing, so I'm going to be bloody careful today. Let's just have a...
Capital inflow into the UAE has accelerated in a faster rate than ever before. More millionaires have moved to the UAE than ever before. More companies have been set up than ever before. More hedge funds have moved offices here in the UAE than ever before. With that, I think the UAE has established itself as a center not just for blockchain and crypto, but the wider emerging technology space.
So the Ripple Swell event at the minute is in the United UAE and Dubai, and yeah, you know, a lot of Ripple's business now. They've got an office based out there, and they've been regulated with the, I think I forgot the name of the company now, but there's a Middle Eastern regulatory authority that's given Ripple a green light for its payment solutions. So of course I think it's MEAE, Middle East and African regions. They account for an enormous amount of the global transaction flow. I think it was something like 8 trillion or something like that, and it covers, I guess, almost 1 billion people or more. So we'll listen to another clip. This is China Bank, beg your pardon, not Chinese bank, China Bank. And this is a chap saying it would be irresponsible for the bank not to learn these technologies and adapt to their relevancy. Now, really, these are all massive enterprise, big, real-world businesses that are at this Ripple Swell conference. It's not just a bunch of degens hanging out trading NFTs here. This is the real deal. Like,
we know for a fact Dubai is embracing these new technologies. They are creating an environment that's conducive to innovation. It would be irresponsible for the bank not to learn these technologies and adapt to stay relevant. Now hearing from the regulators here in Dubai, it also sets an example. So this is very inspiring to the regulators from the Philippines. It will definitely inspire our own regulators to do the same thing.
I hope these Ripple Swell clips don't have copyright music on it, because I don't think I'm on my 4th notice. It's not a strike, but it's just something on them really clicks off the algorithm. Alright, okay, Navin Gupta. Let's have a listen to Navin Gupta. I'm going to kind of play it a little bit before. Here we go.
It's very simple. The reason Silicon Valley happened was they were entrepreneurs, there was venture capital that was available, and the regulation was out of the way. Exactly the same thing is happening in Dubai for crypto. This is where magic on crypto is happening, and that's the reason we are here. So with thousands of these conversations that are happening here over these 2 days, they will get converted into intention, and intention into action. And action will be partnerships, people building newer companies, people collaborating with each other, selling to each other, getting licensed. So it will launch into multiple streams for each company and each participant that is here. And that's what Ripple is here for, to enable that ecosystem to succeed.
Very interesting. And I think lastly, we'll go into this in a second, but we must understand that you can see they're trying to build out networks. And he used something very interesting there. He said, partnerships will, attention leads to attention, which leads to action, which leads to partnerships, or whichever way he said it in. It's a very interesting, quite almost a spiritual kind of concept there, the way he's referring to is, everything first of all begins and crystallizes from a thought wave into the physical reality. They're really pushing and building out that ground level of connections and networks. So you're very early, you can sense that in their words. But I think Navin's based out in the UAE regions now, and he's heading up that division. And this is about mobile money and digital payments in Africa.
Mobile money, which is where really digital payments started in Africa, is instant native. What we've done as MFS Africa was to take that instant capability cross-border. When we move money between Kenya and Uganda, we go through those 2 layers, as I mentioned, the messaging layer, the compliance layer, And we have to do all of this and the settlement for the end user in less than 45 seconds. If it takes 5 minutes, the sender is going to call. If it takes an hour, he is going to come. Not just call. He doesn't believe that the money was sent. So we were able to do that at the level of Africa, and we continue to do that. We process, hundreds of thousands of these transactions every day.
So Ripple putting itself in the middle of Africa, which is obviously a hub of a great new economy that will be built over the next 100 to 200 years there. And we mustn't forget that Africa will leapfrog most of the old institutions that we've had in the Western countries, which are banks and central banks. They will now leapfrog that straight into the mobile technology world. If you've listened to a lot of Michael Saylor's work, he's an absolute genius in this respect. He wrote a book called Mobile, the Mobile Revolution, and then he's been the kind of grandfather explaining the idiosyncrasies and the ideas of this new paradigm shift that we're going through with money. And he explains it really, really well. Take off any maximalism approach. Please spend many, many hours studying what Michael Saylor's been saying. He really has nailed the idea of this digital revolution of money, regardless of what currency it's tied into. Bitcoin is obviously the first mover, but obviously anything that he says can be applied to any other token as well that has real notoriety, like XRP. So it's not a big jump to kind of just cast your mind across and go, well, if he's saying that about that, then you can also look at these other ones. This is one of the last clips of Swell today. This is the big demand increases in crypto. Let's have a listen.
There's increase in demand for paying crypto for merchants. It's not only for luxury goods that the merchant would like to offer paying crypto to their clients, but also different marketplaces. Major marketplaces are looking for this. So that's a very positive development. Difficult in the background to manage it as well, because you go with big players, you go into different geographies and they're depending on licensing and etc. But there's definitely demand paying crypto, demand on the off-ramping piece as well.
Very interesting. Did you hear what he said there? Big demand in the crypto payment side of things. Do you remember back in the old day we looked at a flywheel position? I think it was back in the last video. Never mind in the old days. When I refer to the old days, I'm talking about back in 2017 and 18. A lot of us studied this flywheel effect. It was a kind of a PDF report released by Ripple, and it talked about this thing called a flywheel. I talked about it in my last video. Go and have a look at that. Anyway, they first of all talked about bootstrapping these crypto networks with fiat assets, and then when the rails were ready, they would flick the switch and then start running crypto assets down these rails. And this is what he's referring to, a bigger demand in crypto payments. So they're going to start utilizing the actual assets in these networks more and more now. Now they've had the comfort factors introduced, which is the custodianship at banks, the regulations coming in, and institutions and enterprises won't touch this stuff unless it has the correct kind of dotted I's and crossed T's. Okay, money and finance is very, very massively rather risk ill tolerant. It does not like risk. So the wealth that's been made looks after itself and preserves itself very, very well. Anyhow, right, I just want to jump in. I'm speaking about regulation at risk. I want to cast your mind back to an article that was released in June of this year. And Bearable Guy mentioned years ago, he said the denizens of the internet have fleeting memories when it comes to news. And he's so correct. And what he's referring to there is we forget so quickly of the things that have been mentioned. And in this market where we're seeing almost, I think it was a greed on the fear and greed index. Yeah, a 78 greed factor on the greed index. Okay, with the backdrop of something that most people have already forgot. Let's cast our minds back to, I think it was June of this year. Yeah, there we go, June 2023. Altcoin SEC reckoning threatens the crypto to the core. Now, with all these tokens pumping, most people have forgotten that the SEC put out a notice of 48 cryptos that were alleged securities under its purview. Now, that doesn't mean they are securities, but it means that there could be lawsuits that follow. This is the first thing that happened with Ripple. They got a kind of a little bit of a warning shot, and then it was a suit dropped on them. So we are in a position now where it hasn't just named 19. Actually, I'll update this. It named 48 in total. But just look at some of the big names in here. And this was this could have massive implications for these tokens in the industry. We're less than 6 months, so just around 6 months from the dropping of this. So December of this year will be 6 months since this article's dropped. Do not think the SEC is going to relent on this. There will be a heavy-handed approach. Solana, Cardano, Matic, Filecoin, Algo, Sand, Mana, Atom, BNB, right? I could go on. Dash, ICP, right? So, do you remember the old riddle by Bearable Guy 123? 1 and 2 were given, 3 as a quest. Okay, the third one to get through the door is going to be the last one to get through the door, and that will be Ripple, in my personal opinion. And what I mean for the door is to be given the golden seal of approval by the elites, if we can put it like that. And I think there is going to be a strong day of reckoning in the markets, as per his very famous Christmas image here. This arm here on the recycle machine occurs in, I think, January 2024, above where the White House symbol is. And I think what's going to happen is the White House is going to bring down and crack out very heavy regulations on stable coins and other things. We know stable coins are going to be regulated in the UK over this time. We've seen the kind of the memos regarding their thoughts and ideas to push that regulation before Christmas. But you must see on here that the arm starts cranking that machine in and around January 2024. We know that it's 2024. They've got an X and a shield here. An X is the 24th letter of the alphabet. An X on the machine here, which is 2024. This should end in 2023, this calendar, and we move out then to the Christmas stockings are the interesting one, which is quite interesting really when you think about it, because if this Christmas things move into a position where I think that they may do. I think the only 3 tokens that will have any presence in their stockings will be the 3 on the mantelpiece: Bitcoin, XRP, and USD, either USDC. I don't think Tether will have its moment because look, we have a T here. I'm not certain that it is Tether. I think it's the old symbol, but we'll have to see. But we'll have to wait and see. It's not financial advice, it's me just kind of looking through a looking glass. And we'll wrap it up for that today. I've got a lot more to do, but I'll do another news drop a little bit later on. Alright, this is my Twitter channel. Come give us a follow at Ripples in Wales. Come and say hello. Drop a like on the video and drop a comment. Tell me what I missed. Tell me what your thoughts are on that Bearable Guy 123 scene. And I hope you have a fun Saturday, whatever you get up to. And I'll see you all in the next video. Be blessed.